the Karmelo Anthony appeal. First of all, he has a right to an appeal. Many people on Facebook was confusing whether or not he had a right to appeal or if the judge signed off on it. That is like an absolute guaranteed right to an appeal, regardless of your social status, regardless what the crime is or who finds you guilty or innocent. You have the right to appeal. Even if Karmelo Anthony was found not guilty, the state has a right to even appeal that to the appeals court. So I just want to keep that in mind. Everyone has a right to an appeal. Now, pending appeal, Karmelo Anthony has filed a motion to recuse Judge Roach in which he summarily denied without an explanation from the state. Karmelo Anthony also filed a motion for a new trial in which I believe Judge Roach is going to also summarily deny with the long, lengthy explanation for why he's not racist, why Karmelo Anthony's Sixth Amendment right was not violated, regardless of his public statements, and why he felt like the trial was fair. Me personally, I don't think the trial was fair simply because Karmelo Anthony's defense went into court with what was considered a gentleman's agreement. A lot of people speculated that Mike Howard sold him out and he did not do a good job representing him. And it was because of this gentleman's agreement, in which I do believe is in fact a sellout from Mike Howard himself. So apparently there was an issue of character reputation and trait dealing with the Metcalf twins as well as Karmelo Anthony. And there was a lot of information left out of Karmelo Anthony's case about Austin Metcalf's history of racism, bullying, violence, arrests for spray painting, graffiti, racism. These are things that actually was not stated in the case while the prosecutor was presenting their case to the jury. Also, the kids who testified lied on the oath and contradicted their statements and body camera footage that Mike Howard and the prosecutor actually had, but they wanted to keep character, reputation, and all of this stuff out of court. Now, any agreement that the state makes with a defendant, that's binding, as long as, of course, it's not a due process issue. You have the absolute right to testify in your own case. The big issue in Karmelo Anthony's motion for new trial is simply that Judge Roach basically knew about this gentleman's agreement, upheld it, and then went back in chambers and told Mike Howard that he was not going to uphold that agreement now after the state closed its case. So it prejudiced Karmelo. So theoretically, had Karmelo testified, the prosecutor was going to bring up his history of whatever's in his school record, whatever disciplinary actions, to make him look like a demon. And it's totally unfair that that agreement was in place and the defense relied on that agreement, and suddenly that agreement is completely abolished once the state closes case. That is not a fair trial. That is the big issue in Karmelo Anthony's motion for new trial. And had that agreement been abolished or been fair across the board, Mike Howard would have called in experts who would have testified about Karmelo Anthony's epilepsy, prior injuries, and so forth. So it definitely was prejudice towards the defendant. So that agreement is the big idea on this motion for new trial, and I think is a strong argument on appeal. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised.
What is in your life's blueprint?